Hey, what's happening, people? What is happening? What is happening? You are now tuning in to the Heavy Hitters.
Boom.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Well. Wait a minute. I think DJ want to play something right quick.
I know this guy. I know this mother plucker is lying. I'm so sorry.
Oh Lord. What?
What? Justin Fields just named himself one of the top 5 running quarterbacks in NFL history. Bro, I'm done with this. These young, oh my God.
And that, my friends, was the first outburst of the show.
I'm gonna be good. I'm gonna be good for the rest of the show. I need to get off Twitter. That's all. Just get off Twitter, Mike.
Yeah. I hear you. What's going on, people? What is going on, man? Like I said, we have replaced this week's Tuesday show, and we going 3 minds, 1 goal. The Heavy Hitters is in your building. I am your host, the 6-Man K Styles, aka High May, Billy number 6. To the stage left, as you already know, this is the villain cylinder Palpatine, Mad Mike Sports.
Right.
And you already know, with a bunch of wild heads, you need a minister to calm down the troops. This is why we call him the calm before the storm. Mr. Jew Talk Sports is in the building with us. We are the Heavy Hitters. ATL, ho. So, before we kick this off the right way, Mike, dude, what are the 3 words that we got for the people? We got to hit them up with the real.
Well, I ain't did that in a long time. That's a long time, boy. I didn't think I had them lungs on me. God dang, Mike, you did pretty good with that one. You won't get that for another month or 2.
You got your soprano on with that one.
Yeah.
Well, the Braves don't see this. They're going to call your ass.
Well, that'll be a whole nother month. Yeah, you won't get that for another month. I ain't got that. Hey, boy, get up there.
Hey, man, shout out to him, boy, because God, boy, hell no, I can't do that. And y'all already know the roll call. We kick off the roll call. Just start off with the members. Definitely showing appreciation for the members, as well as everybody else that tunes in on the show on a weekly basis. But today's roll call, we gonna kick it off with Big Ant, Andrew G. We got D. Coleman. And that's it for the members right now. So let's go ahead and get to the rest of the family.
$199, y'all.
Because y'all all
$1.99,
family.
$2.99 for Jew, and $4.99, $1.99 from. Come on, man. I know we worth a couple bucks a month. This $2.99. Okay, just hit that membership. All right, for y'all. Y'all will be first in line for everything, including our merchandise coming real soon. So I know we worth $2 a month. Come on, y'all. Come on. $2 a month. That's all we asking for.
Y'all pay more for a bag of chips, right?
Just a bag of Cheetos, okay? That the 99-cent kind, the 59-cent kind. We didn't even ask for that much.
High quality H2O.
Yeah.
Now,
I had to go get mine too.
Now for the family, man, we got Lee 85, we got Joseph Ford, Robert Honda, Pat North, Miss Pamela Johnson. We got Raymond Elder, Dreddy, Brian Peoples, Jay Diaz, Jonathan Rogier, Nicholas Dixon, Bubba Gump, Kenneth Lewis, Kev Sports and Gaming, King Quest 710, another PR, about whatever, Old Chicken Holler, Marcus Bell, Southside 12, Mucho Grundy, Ghost Peppers, ATL Leo. We got Daniel Berry Sports Highlight, Todd Mullins, Terry Lloyd.
Terry Lloyd.
We got the residential coach in the building, Coach
Yes, sir.
And we got Ultra Shadow 97. That's one of our wrestling buddies right there as well.
Oh, so absolutely.
Definitely shouts out to him as well. So, all right, we're going to go ahead. We're going to cut the music. We're going to go ahead and get the main show started. All right, fellas, how are we doing this evening, man? How are we doing?
Feeling good to have the three minds back together. I know everybody been missing the heavy hitters, but look, my son basketball season, his summer league then wrapped up, so y'all should see a lot more of the heavy hitters as we get into full swing. We know the rookies are at mini camp or training camp, and it should be ramping up next week with the veterans being in training camp. So you guys know as the season ramp up, y'all gonna see a lot more of the heavy hitters, man. So it's good to be back with you guys.
Hey, man, it's always good, man. It's always good because they about sick and tired of me and Mike already.
We caused a little bit too much trouble, just a little bit.
Yeah. We kind of caused a lot of trouble in the Atlanta Falcon content creator space. But it's all good, man. Hey, like I said, 3 minds, 1 goal, all is one. That's what we do around here. So, as y'all already know, how we do this shows right now is we call it the first kickoff segment. First down kickoff segment. And today's first down kickoff segment, we're going to let the minister run point on what he want to get off his chest or anything he want to talk about, man. So, floor is yours, Drew.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about the whole running back thing, but I don't want to jump the gun because I know Mike said he was going to talk about it. So, y'all go ahead and get that super chat, Kay. Somebody just dropped the super chat. So,
all right, let's see. And today we kicking off the super chat extravaganza with Todd Mullins with the 1999.
We appreciate it, man.
Go. That's how you gotta do it. Said my favorite Falcon channel by a lot. We definitely appreciate that, man.
Man, that's a blessing. That really is.
It's just a blessing for us to even do this. I know a lot of the majority of the Falcon fan base looks at us as heathens, cold assholes, all that stuff. But hey, if they ain't talking about you, then you ain't doing something. We definitely appreciate that, man. Wallace Smith, King Richie, Drew, what is happening? Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, so I don't know, Mike. You want to go ahead and run
Go
point?
go ahead.
No.
Go ahead, Drew. It doesn't matter. I can always. I got a big head
Okay.
for a reason.
Okay, yeah, I didn't want to steal your thunder, but as you guys know, this is not really Atlanta Falcons related, but it's going to relate what we're talking about tonight about the salary cap and stuff like that. And are we building the team the right way? But you guys know that Saquon Barkley's been in the news. Josh Jacobs, a lot of these running backs are complaining about not getting paid. And as you guys were on y'all show last night, I was, in the chat as I am usually, and I had a light bulb kind of go over my head because I just thought about why the running back market is so suppressed or why these running backs, why they're not being paid. And kind of what came to my mind was, first off, I had put in the chat last night about Ezekiel Elliott, him getting that big contract, Christian McCaffrey getting that big contract, and how those guys, after getting those big contracts, really didn't live up to the contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I also put in the chat, and I wasn't taking shots, but I was like, trading Julio Jones was one of the best things the Falcons ever did. And the reason I basically stated that is a lot of the times, especially with a Julio Jones, if you go pull up Julio Jones stats after him being traded from the Falcons, we gave him like a $66 million contract for over 3 years in 2019. And basically, as Falcons fans, like me, I know before I was a content creator, we don't want to see our star players move on and play in a different jersey. Like him going and
Mm-hmm.
playing for the Titans, him going and play for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. To me, Julio Jones just didn't look right. After seeing him, for years in the red and black, to seeing him in light blue and dark blue, seeing him in them Titans colors, and then seeing him in the
Man.
Buccaneers uniform, it just looked off. He didn't even look like Julio Jones in those uniforms. And we know that as fans, just emotionally attachment, we get attached to the players. And if you guys remember a couple years ago, and I don't want to go too much in depth, but a couple years ago, you remember when Arthur Blank was saying like, this player's gonna be a Falcon for life. Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, a Falcon for life. And we had, Thomas Dimitroff giving out those big contracts. Well, you have to be really, really careful when you're paying a player for what they've already done for your organization and not looking into the future. When you pay a player, you're paying him for what he's going to do moving forward as an investment. And I feel like that's kind of where the Falcons got in trouble is, we were saying we want all these players to finish their career and be Falcons for lives, for the rest of their career. But when we gave Julio Jones that $66 million contract, he didn't live up to it. He wasn't that player anymore that was going to be able to garner that $22 million cap hit a year where he was making $22 million, per season. If you go look at his last season in Atlanta, and then if you look at the season we traded him when he was in Tennessee, and then you look at his stats last year with the Buccaneers, like he just fell off a cliff. He wasn't producing at that high level. And as players, we got to be really, really, or as fans, we have to be careful. And these teams as organizations have to be careful about divvying out that money. And I really think that that's kind of the reason we're seeing the dip as far as, running backs. Teams are scared to pay these running backs because let's be real. A lot of the times when you have a team and you have a pie, this salary cap, you can't pay everybody. And that's where Thomas Dimitroff kind of got himself in trouble is we paid Devontae Freeman. You paid Julio. You paid Matt Ryan, where our team got kind of imbalanced. We had so much money being dealt out to the offense. And some of the players that we paid, Devontae Freeman being another one, those guys didn't live up to those contracts after we paid them. They balled out prior to getting the contracts. But like I said, it's not about what you've done in the past. It's about what you're going to do after you get that money. And I really feel like that's what a lot of these teams are afraid of. We know Saquon has had injuries. Like, if we give you this big contract, is he still playing at that high, that high level where we give you this big contract, are you going to be able to ball out? And that's why you're seeing a lot of these teams like, we're going to do the franchise tag, even though it's going to take up our salary because it's going to be basically a guaranteed contract, on that for that 1 year. They kind of wanted these guys to be on that like prove it deal, like we've seen with our Falcons when we didn't have money. So I really feel like the first domino that fell here in Atlanta was Julio Jones being traded, because that kind of started the youth movement that we saw here in Atlanta. And that's kind of when we start, let's kind of purge and hit the reset button, because it was Julio, then the second domino was Matt Ryan, and then we kind of, now it's almost like filing bankruptcy, like balancing the checkbook, we basically hit the reset button. Like, we got to bankrupt this thing and we got to hit the reset button. So I'll leave it at there, because we got a lot to talk about tonight. But that's kind of what I just a little bit of what I, the light that went off over my head last night when you guys were talking. It's like, I know we love our players. I know we want, players to get paid, but at what cost? We got to remember, it's a business. We're fans. These are owners. They got to balance that checkbook. And you try to pay everybody because of you love them and what they've done. This is not a lifetime achievement or award. When you give these contracts out, it's not about what you've done over your career with the team. It's about what you're going to do moving forward.
Hey man, yeah, make sure y'all put some fire in the chat.
Man,
this man literally just threw bankruptcy into this conversation. Bro. This is a life lesson for y'all. See, look, as Zion Williams said about his situation, he done paid that girl.
Right. Oh boy.
I'm gonna shut up on that. I'm gonna shut up on that. It's too early. Hey man, but hold on, let me get out the way. I want to give a shout out to D Coleman for the $5 sticker. I'm gonna get some of these chats. Some of these right quick, like Drew said, NFL the business, can't get attached to anybody. Ultra Shadow 97 here said Falcon for life is a damn lie. Yeah. And like you said, when you got a guy like Arthur Blank who hears this and knows, okay, my mindset is I want to keep him here. Yeah, we have to think about with the Julio Jones thing. That dude didn't even play under that extension. That's the funny part about it.
Yeah.
He played not one game under that extension.
That's a major problem. Go ahead, Gav. Go ahead.
Nah, you go ahead, man. You go ahead. I'm sitting there just scrolling through comments now.
Well, for me, man, I think it comes down to like one thing. Like, I'm a man of faith, and the thing that I like the core the core values for myself is always two things: humility and giving. Let me say that again: humility, be humble, and always be giving. I think players of today are just so, and like, they're self-absorbed. They believe that just because you are one of the most, the biggest contributing factors when it comes down to a particular team or organization, they think they should. Yeah, I'm the quarterback. I'm the one of the main reasons why this offense is moving or the defense is moving. They take for granted that nose tackles or play a tremendous part. Just ask a guy like Derek Thomas, Lawrence Taylor, Julius Peppers, like all these guys. Every position on the field has a value, and I think this is one of the major reasons why the media has played, a horrendous job in the downside and the upside of quarterbacks getting paid so much money. The media and the fans. And I kind of go into depth, and I'm gonna drop that later tonight as far as the salary cap is concerned. But I think too is just everybody think that they just because you're good that you're guaranteed to have a career like Julio Jones, or to be worshipped like a Julio Jones, or to be worshipped like a Matt Ryan or Tom Brady and all those guys. Like, end of the day, it's your life. And you got to be humble enough to say, like, if I don't get this big contract, my career isn't a failure because I didn't get a big contract like a Julio or man. Like, come on, bro. It's like it's different positions and people have different skill sets. Just because it's like that in New York doesn't necessarily mean that you should be put heads above a guy in Atlanta or Jacksonville. I think that's where a lot of players are are, are at, and they're spoiled, rotten, and that's just the truth of the matter. You spoiled, rotten, and you think just because you have a good season or you are the best player on that offense or team that you should be treated better than everybody else. And this is why I look at it, Derrick Henry, and I'm disgusted by him. I'm just gonna be real. I'm disgusted by him because he was the one who his career was in the shitter. And if it wasn't for Arthur Smith really coming around and and believing in him, that like he would have been proclaimed as a bust. Saquon Barkley, like you lucky to even be in the league after you tore your ACL, to be honest, because like most teams wouldn't even giving you an opportunity to have a second contract. And I understand that you want a contract, but like offensive line, you don't dip like you don't hear none of these damn running backs right now uh that they're proclaiming that want more money. You never see them talk about my offensive line. Austin Eckler ain't talking about his offensive line opening up holes for him. He's freaking selfish. You don't hear? Did you hear Derrick Henry say anything about his offensive line?
Nope.
Do you hear that Dalvin Cook say anything about his offensive line? All of them thinking
Nope.
about themselves. They thinking about themselves. When we saw Jamal Anderson after he scored his touchdown, almost every time he'll do the dirty bird and hand it to his offensive lineman, his offensive lineman to spike it. We don't see this from these offenses. They're selfish. Okay? They're selfish. They're not humble and they want more. And like I said, wanting more is all cool and all. But like, let's give respect to the guys like the offensive linemen that are putting their body on the line 70, 80 snaps every single game. And we talking about a running back that might get 30, he might get 30 carries, but we disrespecting the offensive linemen. They're getting hit every play. Defensive linemen, they're getting hit every single play. You're not getting hit every single play, running backs. You're not getting hit every single play. These are offensive linemen. These are the quarterbacks that get hit almost every single play. Quarterbacks, 60, 70 snaps, they getting hit. They getting guys 300 pounds going after them. It's like we up here, like y'all want to. These running backs want to have like they want to have like they want to meet with the owners. We don't see the kickers complaining because the kickers can like. What? Let's be real. If the kicker said, "Look, let's be real." If the kickers came out and said, "I think we are one of the most important aspects of who would disagree with that? Let's be real. We've lost. We've seen so many games being lost by field goals, missed punts. Like we've seen games, and if the punters came out and said, "Look, I think we are," I understand that people want their money, and I never want people to think that's like, all right, don't go get your money. But at the same time, we got to show respect to our teammates. And I think these running backs have been incredibly selfish because they looking at everybody else and seeing what everybody else got, and they want a piece too. I think that's just a bad precedent to state. And I think if it's going to change, we need head coaches like Arthur Smith to put their foot down and say, I don't care what you want. If you're not going to play under the team dynamic, and we're not going to do as a family, I don't want you here. I don't care how good you are. I don't want you here. We're going to do this together as a team. And I think that's what needs to be the foundation, not getting every penny that you can make. Like I got so much to say about that. I just, like I said, man, I don't like to see individual players crying over like money when you making $15 million a year. Like, come on, man, get out of my face.
Yeah, I mean, like I said yesterday, man, and you and Jew, What is the main key phrase that you say about running backs every?
Draft one every year, bro. Like I said it last night. Like it sounds ruthless. It sounds ruthless. But as I was just sitting, like I said, I was just brainstorming, last night when y'all were doing y'all show. And I kind of thought about like this is how you guys got to think about it. Y'all always bring the Kansas City Chiefs. They're a team that y'all talk about a lot because they had to reinvent themselves. They moved off of Tyreek Hill because he was on that same stuff. Like I want my money, and they had a decision to make. Like when they sit in these meeting rooms and you got the GMs, you have the coaches that's putting the team together, they got to look at, the scouts. They got to look at, okay, we can't afford to pay Travis Kelce. We can't afford to pay Pat Mahomes and the Cheetah. So which guy's the most dynamic, meaning he can do multiple things? Is it going to be Travis Kelce or is it going to be the Cheetah? And they decided to go with Travis Kelce, and they turned out to be right because they won another Super Bowl without Tyreek Hill. So that just goes to show that a team is always bigger than one man. Like when they made that move, I was even like, I don't know, we're gonna see, how it pans out. But it goes to show you when you have a team and you build your team the right way. And in their instance, like I mentioned, you can't pay everybody. And I feel like with our Falcons, how we're building our team is we're putting the money in the trenches. And I think you guys know I've been, clamoring for us to do that for years. It's like put the money in the trenches. Running backs are a dime a dozen. Like you guys got to think about it. Running backs, the reason I say draft them every year, it's not to be disrespectful to Saquon. It's a lot of great talents out here. But you went down a list, K-Styles, as I was looking at the video, Barry Sanders, Curtis Martin. Like we can name pretty much every team back in the day had a really good running back. They're a dime a dozen. But if I'm a scout personally, if I'm the GM and I'm putting a team together, would I rather get rid of a Devontae Freeman that we had or keep a Jake Matthews? I'm just being honest. Me who actually look at film, for me, it's harder for me to find a gem at offensive line than it is at a running back. To me, a running back position is like mainly the eye test. I can see a running back, watch his highlights and be like, okay, yeah, that kid, he's special. But you know how many running backs we would talk about in this draft? I looked at K-Styles and we were like, man, Tajay Spears. Like it was like 10 to 15 running backs in this draft that we were like, they'll be good in the NFL. I can't do this. I can't say the same thing for those guys in the trenches. It's hard. It's hard to find offensive linemen. And that's the reason why I feel like the Falcons are building the way that they're doing it. And that's kind of the reason why, with the running back market, I really feel like it's kind of went, they're not getting paid that top dollar because they're a dime a dozen. We seen Pacheco for the Chiefs, a 7th-round pick. Like he was a starting running back. Like we seen them doing it, by committee. Him, Jerick McKinnon, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like they seen you can do it by committee. You don't have to have that Derrick Henry. And if you look at most of the teams that are consistently winning, the Patriots, y'all talked about them last night. They're a team that always did it by committee. They never really paid a running back top dollar because you don't have to. You really don't have to. They put their money in the trenches. They always, if you look at those Patriots teams, Richard Seymour, Rodney Harrison, like the guys, they always put the money into their defense and in the trenches all the time. Vince Wilfork, they always have those guys in the trenches. The running back, sometimes you can't even remember them because they had so many guys that they used by committee and they won all of those Super Bowls. But you see teams that are just clamoring for just that one, as we talk about that one superstar running back. And I really feel like the best way to build a team is like we're saying is running back by committee because they're a dime a dozen. Wide receivers are a dime a dozen. Those offensive linemen are hard to find. Those guys in the trenches, those defensive tackles, and those premier pass rushers, they're hard to find. You can maybe name 10 guys that consistently in the league. Probably can't even name 10 that consistently get 10 sacks a season.
Right.
Name numerous guys that get 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah, man. Got home team in the building.
Right, Barry.
Let's see. About whatever he said. That's why we should have took Sewell over Pitts and that left tackle out of Georgia over Robinson.
Nah, I don't know about all that. Nah, like Why is everybody like the man got hurt? Okay, y'all act like he just did not play well. He got hurt. It's like, good God, just because he's not there don't mean he just stopped learning how to play. Like, what? Be patient. This is exactly what we talking about with the running back and the players. Everybody get just because a guy ain't there, we just say, all right, he not. If we would have gave up on Julio after he broke his foot, we would have missed out on one of the greatest wide receivers in the history of the game. If we would just say, all right, you know, let's just say Jake Matthews or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like forget the Jake Matthews. You know, he had a year where he wasn't the greatest left tackle. Like he struggled his first year. He struggled his second year, kind of finding himself, and then third. And from that point on, it's like he found his most. Like we got to get these guys time to to progress, man. And it's like it's just like if a guy isn't there, we just want to throw him away and find the next great thing. And like what you just saying, man, it's like you gotta be patient with these players, man, and you just have to you just because you never know like with these defensive linemen, there's not many defensive linemen in the league that you can find and say, all right, he's gonna be a superstar. We still looking forward. It's been 10 years since we had a Johnny Abraham. You know what I'm saying? It's been 10 plus years since we had a Johnny Abraham. We still looking for edge like him. This is the reason why you gotta be patient with these guys. I know the Jets probably kicking themselves for letting Johnny Abraham leave like that. It's a lot of players that like if we would have gave up on them in 3-4 years, it's like I just be patient. That's all I say. Just be patient. Kyle Pitts is gonna be fine. They ain't gonna get him the ball. He Marcus Murray was just he's just not he wasn't a good quarterback, and it's fine. He's a good guy to manage the game and get you to a certain point. But when it comes down to actually being a quarterback, it's only so many guys, a handful of guys that can actually, pass the ball consistently like that. And we've been spoiled when it comes down to the quarterback position. This has been the greatest era of football when it comes down to quarterbacks. And I think people just think it's way too easy to just, develop a quarterback and him being good. Just be patient, man. We're never going to see another era of football with this many good quarterbacks that we just went through. That's a last of a dying breed.
And like I said, it's not even a guarantee that Penny Sewell would have been worked here neither.
Mm-hmm.
Not guaranteed. Like I said, ain't none of this stuff guaranteed. This is why development is important. Like you said, a guy like Penny Sewell, like you said, could work. Like you said, he's the bigger name. But think about it like this. It took one offensive philosophy change to make Caleb McGarry, who was the butt of everybody's jokes down here in Atlanta, all of a sudden now everybody's on his dick. It took one offensive philosophy change. They went from passing the ball 60% of the time to running the ball 54% of the time. And like I said, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I think Matthew Bergeron may be a better pick. And like I said, maybe a little bit down the line, but I think Matthew Bergeron may actually end up being a better offensive lineman than Penny Sewell. So that's my hot take on that. Let's go ahead and get right into tonight's topic, man. Like you said, hey, that was a good one right there. And like I said, tonight's topic, we are going to do this right. as we already done seen the interview, as Calais Campbell has always been saying that they're building something special. Um, we're going to talk about how the cap managing of this regime may potentially set this team up for success in the long term, as well as short, medium, and long term. And what we're going to do with this one, we're going to let since this idea was brought up to us by the minister himself, we're gonna let him go ahead and run point on this one, man.
Damn.
How do you feel about how Terry is going about things?
I mean, I definitely love what Terry Fontenot was doing with the team, but it kind of goes back to where I initially, like I said, I kind of jumped the gun and talked a little bit about it in the first segment. It's like the Julio Jones and Matt Ryan was the first domino, and it was kind of like not having money was a blessing in disguise because it gave us the blueprint to how you should move when you have money. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I said this is almost like a life lesson. Like people that don't have money, like in regular terms, it's your regular finances. People that don't have money, you know, you're used to struggling, you're used to getting it out the mud, and then once you finally get money, you know how to manage it because you're used to not having a lot of money. And I kind of feel like that's kind of what has happened with our Falcons. It's like we didn't have much money, so we put players on 1 year deals like the Cordell Pattersons. We made guys prove it. To now, when we got money, if you guys notice, like Calais Campbell, I think he's on like a 1 year deal. If I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 year deal. I think a 1 year,
1 year deal. Yeah.
1 year deal. Like he's a big name. You would think they would have gave him like a 2 or 3 year deal, but they gave him a 1 year deal. And I kind of like I said, the whole situation. At first, it seemed like, oh man, you know, we don't have any money. This is a bad thing. But they kind of flipped it on his head, where all of the stuff that seemed like it was bad for the Falcons and bad for our organization end up turning out to work for our good. And I kind of feel like this is going to be the blueprint moving forward. And I believe it was Mike said this on one of the shows that you guys did when you guys went live, where he's like, teams are not trying to give out those 5 year contracts anymore, those 4 year contracts, because they're not trying to be trapped. Like they're trying to give these, if they give any like big money out, they're trying to be 3 years or less. They're not trying to pay, you know, give out these 4 or 5 year deals because they know the injuries are inevitable. Like you're going to get injured playing professional football. So I really feel like us not having money really like slayed the blueprint for them bringing in the type of players that they wanted. And that was something that Johnny Abraham was talking about, you know, when they were in the shop, where he was basically talking about from the head up that it sounds like everybody is kind of like a blue collar type player on this team, that everybody sounds like Arthur Smith. And I really feel like it started from us not having money. So they had to literally bring in players that really wanted to play. It wasn't about the money because we didn't have any money to give nobody. Like the guys that came to Atlanta, Cordell Pattersons, the guys that are the identity of this team were like, bruh, we brought these guys in on 1 and 2 year deals. We didn't really have any money, but those were like the backbones of this team. And I really feel like that kind of laid the blueprint for now that we have money, they're spending it in the right way. Like we could have easily took that money and went out and got a Lamar Jackson, but they're like, we just did that. We're not going to do insanity. We just had, you know, Matt Ryan. We just had Julio Jones, these guys on big contracts. And we had the bankrupt. I was just talking about, we had to hit the reset button because those players that we had were not producing on that level anymore. And we was paying them crazy, like against the cap. We know we was the highest, you know, that we know that type of cap hit we took when we, you know, got rid of those guys. So I really like that this regime is kind of like going a totally different direction than our last regime. But I think that they're doing it the right way. Like they're spending money, but they're spending the money in the right places and they're doing it the right way. Like if the Chris Lindstroms, the guys that played on those 1 year deals or was still on those rookie contracts that balled out, they kept their word. The Lorenzo Carters, the guys that came in, the CPs, those guys got new contracts. They got rewarded for coming in and, you know, playing hard and being kind of like setting the foundation. And then they went and added, you know, the Jesse Bates. They went and added the Onyemadas. They went and added the Calais Campbells, but they spent the money, as I talked about, in the trenches, and then they developed the guys that we have, the Desmond Ritters. We brought in the Drake Londons, we brought in the Kyle Pitts, which really, if you think about it, like the Bijan Robinson that we brought in, a lot of people are not thinking about it, but with him being a first round pick, what does that mean with Bijan Robinson down the road? He's going to be a guy that can be franchise tagged. So don't be surprised if he's a guy to get franchise tagged in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if either he's franchise tagged or he's going to have to play on a lesser contract. But that's one of the reasons I think that they went with a Bijan in the first round, just for the mere fact, and the Drake Londons and the Kyle Pitts, because it gives them time to space out and they have flexibility in the cap. And that's what I was talking about with the Chiefs a little bit earlier, is the Chiefs have done an excellent job with Pat Mahomes. They stretched that contract all the way out, where basically they playing with money. That's how they were able to get a Kadarius Toney. That's how they were able to, get rid of the big contract with the Cheetah and then pay Travis Kelce, and each year give these guys bonuses. You heard Mike talk about it. I think he talked about it in his rant, where Mahomes, we look at that big contract, but really it's like a 2-year or 1-year deal. Every year he going back to the table, basically. So with that being said, I'm gonna let you guys take it, because this is like a big topic where you can go a lot of different directions. But I just like what we're doing, because like I said, they took the situation that we were in and it kind of gave us the blueprint of, we not finna get nobody the bag. The people that's gonna get the bag are the players that really earned it. Like Chris Lindstrom is the only guy that I could really say got the bag. Other than that, we really didn't give out no huge contracts. Other than Jesse Bates and Chris Lindstrom, everybody else was on a reasonable contract. Even Caleb McGarry, his contract, if you look at it, is very flexible and it's really reasonable. Meaning, if he don't ball out, like for some reason he dipped, like when we had Ryan Schrader, where all of a sudden he got paid and he just, like, for whatever reason, we'll be able to move off some of them contracts. So I think they did a good job of putting that language in a contract where it's like, you mess up, it's just like that.
That's your ass, Mr. Postman. But kind of what you're saying about that money part, even with the Jesse Bates deal, is really when you look at Jesse Bates deal, it's really only a 2-year deal, because that's where most of his money is going at. So, like you said, you made a good point, Ju, when you talking about having that flexibility to, and then, like you said, when you think about the kind of guys that they drafted, and you think about the way that this offense is built, like you said, it's effectively whoever the hell is open offense. That's what they're trying. That's what they're building. And the reason why we're saying that too is because if everybody has an opportunity to get the football, instead of relying on one person here, that guy right there, that one person offense where you relying on that guy, gets big bag. But when you're setting it up to where everybody gets a chance, that one big bad guy ain't gonna get no money like that. Because at the end of the day, when we're looking at these contracts, a lot of times it's all about, are you a free agent at the right time and what your numbers look like. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs could cut Patrick Mahomes after 2024 and not get a cap hit. And his contract ends in 2031. That's it. Decide not to negotiate.
It's about, again, it's about trust. It's like I said, it's the mafia mentality, man. It's like, it's if you're not in on what we're doing, it's like you're not part of the family. You got to be able to trust you that you're not going to take, the route that most players, especially of today, just say, all right, it's all about me. Like, one thing I like about the 90s and the early 2000s, it was about, about the game. A guy like Randy Moss is a perfect example. It's like you had a modern day approach as far as an athlete, and he could have easily got a big head when it came down to money. You know what I'm saying? He was one of the most dynamic wide receivers to ever play the game, and he kind of, I want to say changed the game, but his style of play was like he was just ahead of his time. I think he was ahead of his time, and he could have easily said, "I'm Randy Moss. I want my $100 million." You know what I'm saying? Easily, like easily said that. A guy like Barry Sanders could have easily said, "All right, I'm Barry Sanders. I'm not gonna work hard. Like, I'm just a dynamic player." AP, same type of player. These guys are ahead of their time, and they had every opportunity to say me first, but they was like, "Look, we're gonna play under a team game," and I think that's the thing that owners want, and you got to understand this is a team game. Even in tennis, it's about a team. You got to be able to trust your coach. You got to be able to trust your coaches to be able to help you see things that you don't see. The offensive lineman, the coach, even the third string quarterbacks will be able to help, the quarterback see things that he doesn't see on the those are one of the aspects, of having a Matt Schaub on the bench behind Matt Ryan, because he can help Matt Ryan see some things. The offensive lineman who's sitting on the bench, hey man, you're not looking toward the left, Chris. This guy's doing this. You know what I'm saying? He can watch you on the sideline while you're doing these types of things. And that's why I say, it's selfish for these players to be asking for more money, because you do have coaches that are helping you develop as a player. You got offensive linemen that's helping you develop as a running back. They're opening these holes, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the fullback, one of the most disrespected positions in the history of football is the fullback position. Nobody cares. Like these guys are these guys are not only the eyes for the running back, but they see things before it happens. So the running back, all he has to do is just focus on running.
Mm-hmm.
All he has to do is focus on running. But everybody always disrespect, and that position is starting to make a comeback. So I think it's so much more to the game than just money, and I think the end result and so much money being made. I think if it kind of puts players in a position where they need. I think a lot of players. I'm gonna just be real, man. These players just need to be humble. I'm gonna keep it real. They need to be humble. We need these owners to stand up, and I know I'm gonna get some heat for this, but I don't care. We need these owners to step up and say, all right, we want y'all gonna work for this. You're gonna work for these. If I'm gonna give you $100 million, you're gonna work. You're gonna show me that because we don't need another Julio situation where he didn't even play under the contract. These players are smart what they doing. They not fools. They trying to get the contract, the guaranteed money, so they can end up saying, "All right, I want out. I want trade. I'm not gonna pay." We seen Julio do this. You seen what D Hop did. D Hop just did it. He just did the same thing. He could have went to a champion and then what? He didn't even go. Look, let's just keep it real. These guys don't know who the heck their quarterback is gonna be, but this man up and get $30 million for two years. They don't even know who their quarterback is in Tennessee. But you gonna get this man $30-something million. Come on, man. Like these players are not fooling anybody. We literally heard Saquon Barkley say out of his own mouth, "I don't plan on playing past 8 years in the league." And you expect these guys to give you money? Why would I give you money if you up here already telling me what you planning on doing? Why would I do that? Why would I give that when you already think about retirement? You're a freaking idiot. If you think I'm gonna give you $50 million, $60 million guaranteed, and you already think about retirement, man, please. We can go on and on and on about this. But at the end of the day, the game of football is a team game. I love it when guys like CP has played his role. He know the type of player he is. We see fullback, we see offensive linemen, and I always say this, man. And I'm gonna end with this case style. But like I always say this about offensive linemen. They are the most disrespected players on the field. They get hit. Defensive linemen, offensive linemen are the most disrespected people on the field. We got all these skill positions, running backs, wide receivers. Look, they the only one complaining. You don't see DBs complaining. You don't see the defensive backs complaining. You don't see the safeties complaining. It's the wide receiver and these damn running backs. They crying and holding out. When the last time we seen a defensive back crying and talking about I'm holding out, I want my money? You don't see it. It's the running backs and the wide receiver that's crying. And we wondering why you got guys like Arthur Smith that said it's not going to be one player that's going to make a difference on the team. This is going to be a team effort. They're showing you why these coaches don't trust them. They're showing you. We've seen it time and time. This man was playing with Kyler Murray, and you going to leave Kyler Murray, and I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan, but you going to leave Kyler Murray to go play with some freaking Ryan Tannehill, or you on crack? You going to leave Kyler Murray to go play with Ryan Tannehill, and who the other quarterback? I forget his name that quick. We get
you talking about mayonnaise in the coffee, man?
Yes. What are we doing? You talking about you want to win and you gonna play with Ryan Tannehill? Man, get out of my face, man. Get out of here, bro.
Hey, man. Hey, we gotta definitely shout out D West 34.
What's happening?
We new member. Pick up the pieces. Hold on, I thought I had them popping up. It was that. Pick up the pieces. Definitely shout out to him. Hey, and definitely make sure that if you haven't purchased your tickets for the Black and Red event for this weekend, letting you know the weekend is going down. Like you said, just make sure y'all hit that link at Eventbrite. It's on the screen. In your chats on your phone, whatever you looking at, get y'all the details. We about to have some fun. So y'all definitely make sure y'all go ahead and get them tickets, man. Them tickets going to a good cause. School supplies for the kids. That's what we doing, man. And like I said, y'all, and we're just gonna be chilling with y'all. We got, like I said, it's gonna be drinks, it's gonna be food, shit talking. Sound like a barbecue in an event place for me. Hey, I like that.
Oh hell. Jamal Anderson just posted, I am thrilled and excited to announce, well, I can't actually announce it yet, but Dirty Birds, whatever that means.
Oh Lord. There he go. there he go. With the suspense.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also have to kind of look at where the Falcons have been throughout these times. And I remember Arthur Blank said something this offseason that made me really think. He said this was the first time in a long time that he's seen this organization have money going to free agency. Boatloads of money. Because you have to remember, really the last time the Falcons had that much money going into free agency was pre-2003. Because if you remember correctly, about 2003, 2004, we saw Michael Vick get one of the biggest contracts that a quarterback ever got in NFL history. Am I correct? It was like 10 years, $130-something million.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the first time a quarterback ever got that much money.
Right. So that took up, and what a lot of people don't talk about with that contract took up at least 40% of the cap. Now remember, this is the same team where you got Ward Dunn, TJ Dunn, Keybrook, and Patrick Kearney, D'Angelo Hall. You got all these guys, but it's kind of like I said, that's why I was saying it's kind of hypocritical to say about such and such Matt Ryan's contract taking up a lot of space where this wasn't the first time we've seen this. Then you turn around, you had that little break with Joey Harrington and such, but you still was paying for Michael Vick's contract. Then you turn around and draft Matt Ryan. You have to remember when Matt Ryan was drafted, that was back then when them first round pick quarterbacks, especially in the top 10, were damn near getting $70 million a year. A lot of people don't remember that. Mm-hmm. So that was already taking up a lot of cap in itself. That and then, like you said, after you got dealt with that, and then you got extension to go with that, and then you got Matt Ryan winning the MVP, so they gave him another one. So yeah, that's what I said. This is really the first time in almost 20 years that the Falcons were able to make, like, when I'm saying big splash, like a big splash free agency and spend a lot of money. Yeah. So this is why this team, as far as what Juice talking about with the cap situation, this is why they are a little bit more attention to details, especially on how they want to build this team. Because if you look at the draft, the last 3 drafts that they had, their first round picks was Kyle Pitts, tight end, Drake London, wide receiver, Bijan Robinson, running back. Now, when you look at the tight end position on average ain't making as much money as the wide receivers. Am I correct?
That is correct, sir.
Okay. You already seeing the running backs crying right now. So, at this point in time, the running backs ain't getting no money like that compared to the wide receiver. Now, you got a wide receiver. But when you have a bunch of dynamic players everywhere around, that wide receiver is not necessarily needed to catch 1,500 yards. They have 1,500 yard seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And while in doing this, you're developing guys like a Matthew Bergeron. Like I said, you gave Chris Lindstrom the contract. You get Caleb McGarry stayed for almost $40 to $50 million less than what he would have gotten free agency.
That's a great point. That right there.
Like I said, you still developing Drew Dahlman. You still got Matt Hennessy. Hey, like I said, Javon Gwynn, even though he was a 7th round pick, like I said, he could be a major factor here in a couple years. It just depends on the development. Like I said, they're trusting. I don't want to say trusting the process because all that shit is gonna remind me of that Philadelphia Philly shit. I don't want to talk about that stupid shit. But by developing these players, and then also by you those major skill positions, not necessarily have to worry about getting big money until about 2026, 2027. That gives you ample time to prepare. If that gives you ample time to prep and prepare for the time where if Arnold Ebiketie, D'Angelo Malone, Zach Harrison, and these guys can get to that next level. Because as you already know, those markets are coming down just a little bit, slightly, because now the defensive tackle market done went the hell up. That's why majority of the defensive tackles that's on this team are either free agents or undrafted free agents for a reason. So they paying attention to all the markets and all the positions.
Uh-huh.
And that's how you strategize. Shout out to Grady Baby 81 with the $2.99 super sticker.
99.
Yeah, Caleb McGarry is a country boy. He wants to fish, hunt, and all that stuff. That motherfucker look like a yodeling yaksman. I know that for a fact.
Damn, that was so messed up. Man.
but like you said, by him staying, it's showing his belief in what these guys are trying to build. They're trying to build that chemistry the right way, and I love every minute of it. Let's see. So, let's see. Hold on. We got this comment right here. Ghost Pepper said the pieces are in place for our Birds to make some serious noise this year. I look at the offseason moves the Birds made, and I can't think of another year where we made so many quality additions. Yeah. Yeah, you got I guess we go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and answer this. So what okay, so shout out to
I ain't answering it. It's you. I'm not answering that bullshit. I'm
got to tag and ask Mike just a little bit with this.
I'm not answering. I'm not doing it.
I'll answer for you. What do you think about the Trey Lance to Atlanta rumors? Once again, I'm gonna just say it like this. Is everybody hoping on the dream of thinking that only first round quarterbacks matter and everybody else ain't worth a damn? Like you said, the problem is when you think about it, San Francisco literally traded their first round picks for the next the following couple years and traded up to get him, thinking that there was a game plan in place, and he's been hurt since. Yeah, like you said, he had the big out of that whole quarterback class. This is why I don't like when folks like Todd McShay and buster ass motherfucker Mel Kiper Jr. always talk about quarterbacks that got a long way to go but have the high ceiling type thing, because what ends up happening is now you're putting all the pressure on him to be this savior guy, especially for a guy that only played 10 college football games, from which somebody told me that he's won more games in college than Desmond Ritter. I'm like, are you sure about that? Because I remember Trey Lance only played 10 games. Played 9 his sophomore year, and he played 1 his senior year because he sat out. That was the COVID thing. He sat out after 1 game. Like I said, I wouldn't buy into no Trey Lance to Atlanta.
Go ahead, Drew, because I'm not answering that shit.
You answered it, Kay. Like, Desmond Ritter's our starting quarterback. As Bill Belichick would say, we're on to Cincinnati. like we already know Desmond Ritter he's a starter. Like, this whole Trey Lance, I mean, I think we've seen it legitimately. Every quarterback that nobody was on Twitter. Somebody was saying they coming to Atlanta. Whether it was Derek Carr, whether it was any available quarterback, they on their way to Atlanta. Like, Desmond Ritter is our starting quarterback. We have 2 quarterbacks on our team. We have Taylor Heineke we just signed under contract. Why would we bring in a Trey Lance or trade assets when make this make sense? Mr. Irrelevant. The 49ers would rather have Mr. Irrelevant than a first round pick. Make that make sense.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, regardless on where a guy's drafted, even if it's just a quarterback we could throw quarterbacks in clue, because for some reason it always seems like with other positions it don't matter where you drafted, but with the quarterback position it's all about where you drafted. Like it don't matter at the end of the day. It's all about what system you fall into and can you fit into that system. Because every quarterback in this league is a system quarterback.
I mean, we had a whole.
People don't want to hear that part, but I'm like, yeah, every quarterback is a system quarterback. That's why they are successful in said systems that they play in. We've seen Patrick Mahomes. He's been in the same Andy Reid system here since he done got drafted. We've seen Drew Brees in the Sean Payton offense for damn near 14 damn years.
Mm-hmm. I actually had a big argument with Sam and LaTravis over this. Just based on what Kev just stated, like this is why I don't personally believe that quarterbacks suck. Most quarterbacks don't suck because they just like, all right, they have no talent. That's why you see them in college, and then you have certain players that's in the NFL. They're not great in college, and then they get in the NFL, they're great. Drew Brees is a perfect example of that. Tom Brady is a perfect example of that. He wasn't great in college because he wasn't in the right system. And then he went to the NFL and became one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game. Drew Brees, he wasn't great in college at all, and he was a pretty good quarterback. But like most of these guys didn't have their success in in college. They got to the NFL and then got in the right system. And this is a controversial take. I get so much heat for saying this because I don't believe a quarterback. Most quarterbacks. Now you do have quarterbacks that are just complete ass. I'm not saying that these guys are just trash. You do have that, but like most of these quarterbacks, if you put them in an RPO system, you put them in a run based system where all they have to do is just manage the game and not make too many. You don't have to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. Like some quarterbacks aren't good when they have to throw the ball 30 plus times a game. Like if you had Gax and them and say, all right, go win the game for us by passing, most quarterbacks are going to fail. But when you put them in an offense where they can run the ball, check the ball down, and just, control the tempo of the game, most of the time these guys are going to be good and they're going to be adequate. That's why you got guys like, for a perfect example, like Brett Favre was that. When he was out there throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game in Atlanta, he wasn't no damn good. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't no good. It wasn't no good when he was out here asking him to throw the ball because we played that run and shoot, and the run and shoot is a throw first offense. We throw, and then we run. That's why he failed. And then you put him in, a balanced system in the West Coast offense in Green Bay. You saw the best of Brett Favre come out because he worked on the fundamentals, and they worked on him just getting rid of the ball, getting the ball out of his hand quick, and not taking too many chances. But when you slow a quarterback down, you put him in a certain system, most of these quarterbacks are going to be pretty good. They're average at best. But like, I don't believe most quarterbacks suck because they suck. I think that you got to find the right system for each quarterback.
Yeah, because I was about to say, y'all damn show ain't going to put Tom Brady in a Lamar Jackson type system.
Come on, that you see, I'm saying that that'd be crazy, man.
Can you imagine Tom Brady running quarterback powers 10 times
Man,
a game?
come on. That'd be crazy, man.
You're not gonna like, and then like you said, and that was also kind of like one of the issues that like a couple quarterbacks had, like with Alex Smith and Matt Ryan. Like I said,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at their careers as far as dealing with offenses, they're very similar. Because remember, Alex Smith didn't get a consistent offensive coordinator until about year 7.
Mm-hmm.
They was changing offense. They were changing offenses like we change draws around here every year. New offensive coordinator. Next year, offensive coordinator. Hurt. Next year, offensive coordinator. And that's also where Matt Ryan was kind of going down that path, because you have to remember he was going through offense coordinator, boom, offense coordinator, boom, boom, boom. And the dude literally had, if you look between 2015 to 2022, you've essentially had to deal with 5 different play callers and 5 different cadences.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't talking about 5 guys that were all brought up under the same coaching staff. You're talking about guys that were plugged in from other damn situations. So that's why I say it's very important to have that stability. That's all I'm saying. That's Southside said, I'll pay to see Tom Brady run the read option system for But he already retired because he was afraid he was gonna get his head blown off by damn Grady Jarrett. It gave him them flashbacks of that game against the damn Colts when they was it the Colts? No, it wasn't the Colts or was it Buffalo when they knocked his block off?
I think
it was like back
Bills.
in 2001.
The Bills when they knocked his
it might have been the Bills. They knocked his block off, boy. He had reminiscences of that. He's like, nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think it was Nate Clements who did it. I think it was Nate Clements who did that.
Yeah, he knocked his whole helmet off.
No, boy, he not, boy. Boy, he knocked the referees into him. Hey, Drew, I want you to hit this question up right here. Mucho asked it. Algier and Robinson together total 2,000 yards, 14 touchdowns. Is that a successful season?
I think the hot take, the Falcons will be a top 3 rushing team, hands down, this season. I don't know the number. I really don't care, to be honest. Like, I've been saying all these different numbers about Ritter. Like, they were talking about over or under passing yards, 2,600 and all this. I don't care about numbers so much. So I care about wins and losses. That's really what I really care about. I mean, last year we ran the ball really well. So I don't expect nothing different this year. I mean, you got CP, Algier, and Robinson. To me, that's the best trio in the NFL. So I expect those guys to ball out. But at the end of the day, I just want to see wins. So I'd rather see over or under on wins. I really don't care. I mean, I think we can easily go over 2,000 yards rushing, but it's going to be that trio like CP, Algier, and Robinson. It should have all 3 of their names there. But as far as touchdowns, we're a run-first team. Like, so I expect this year, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we're a top 3 rushing team because we were top 5 last year, and we're a better rushing team. We'll be a better rushing team this year because it's one more year in that system, and then you added a dynamic runner with Robinson, who's a guy who can take, get the ball anywhere on the field, and he has that breakaway speed. So with him, with those 3 guys, all three of those guys are really dynamic runners. So I definitely think that we'll be over 2,000, but I really don't care so much about the numbers. As long as we got the wins to back it up, and as long as we make the playoffs and win our division, that's really what I'm focused on. Like, we have no reason not to win the division.
All right. We got Uncle Steve's Lounge in the building.
What's happening? What's happening?
What's happening? He look like he's got a question for the family. Says even with the upgrades on defense this offseason, any chance we reach out to Ngakoue, Justin Houston, Smoot to build up depth? I say the more the merrier.
Hell no. To the no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, to the no, no, no. Hell to the no, hell to the no, no, no. Hell no. Why?
I'm about to say, boy, it sound like chitlins and collard greens in the background.
That's what I took it to the church, bro. Hey, that's that church clap. Y'all, hey man, look, y'all know how it is when they get the Holy Ghost, boy, they start clapping. Nah, absolutely not. Look, the Falcons have, for one, we have a young kid and D'Angelo Malone that nobody's paying attention. He needs time. We need Ebiketie. He needs time. We need Ogundeji. He needs time. We got Lorenzo Carter. That's 4 guys right off the top when we talk about their edge. It's not a lot of. I mean, we have two other guys that's in the middle of the defense. These guys can play inside and outside, and Caden Ellis and Troy Anderson. That's about 5 to 7 edge guys right now. We know Troy Anderson has the ability to get after the quarterback because we saw against Tampa Bay in the last few games of the season. The dude was absolutely putting heat on the quarterback. So when it comes down to it, what the Falcons need more of, if anything, they need more. And this is going to be a controversy, but they need more one ticks. They need at least one more one tick outside of uh Omiyata and
Eddie Goldman.
Eddie Goldman. Those guys. We need one more guy to step up. So that's what we need, because if one injury happened to those guys, we obviously gonna need somebody to kind of step in. You don't never want to have one run stuff in there. So what we need is a run stuff. We don't need more pass rush. I know people are always talking about pass rush, but you can generate pass rush. We've seen that with Kansas City. These guys don't have, they don't have a lot of edge guys that's, they're putting up 10 sacks. These guys do a great job of stopping the run, and then have an offense. This is the thing. We have an offense that protects the defense. Let me say this again. They have an offense that protects the defense by time of possession. Time of possession is our best friend. If we can stay out of third and longs, we won't have to worry about signing the Ngakoue. We won't have to worry about signing these guys. Why? Because we'll be eating up the clock, and the pass rushers, the guys that we have on there, have more opportunities to get after the quarterback. You want Grady Jarrett to have more opportunities. Why? Because he's one of the quickest, best defensive linemen. And so if we just do our job on the offensive side of the ball, we won't have to worry about signing these Ngakoues to $7 million to come in here and do with them. I'm sorry, you, but come in here and do with Dante Fowler. We paying him, $13 million to come in here and get 5 sacks. We don't need that. So just do our job offensively and control the clock. Stay out of third and long. We won't have to worry about that because we have well-rested defensive linemen. And you have well-rested defensive linemen in the fourth quarter and in the playoffs, we have done our job. So pick up the pieces, Jew.
All right. Let's see.
Yeah. Hey, I think there could be a chance that we bring in one of those guys, but it's only if the guys that we have, either injury takes place or those guys are not getting the job done. But I don't think that it'll be early on. Like, it'll have to be like towards the middle of the season. Like, if those guys are not performing or if those guys get hurt. But you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, is Timmy Horn still on our team?
He is indeed.
Okay.
Yep.
Timmy Horn, yeah. He's another guy that can play the one. So we got a ton of, like, we said at the defensive line, to be honest, that's probably our deepest position. Like, the defensive line right now is set. Like Mike was saying, we're set. But the only way I see them bringing in like a Justin Houston or Ngakoue is if, like, those guys, somebody gets hurt in that rotation that he mentioned, or if those guys are not producing. If those guys are not producing, then I can see them going in and bringing in like a Justin Houston or somebody that'll put more pressure on the quarterback. But as he mentioned, prepare to see Michael Walker on the edge, prepare to see Troy Anderson, and prepare to see Caden Ellis also come off the edge. So that'll kind of cut down, because our linebackers are also, if you guys see the video that Mike put up a couple weeks ago when they showed Michael Walker basically looks like he was working on pass rush moves, that's because our outside linebackers or our inside linebackers at times will be outside linebackers as well.
Right. Hold on. There's a couple questions here. I'm gonna get this one. Is Stephen B still available out there? We could bring him in but that's not really a question, but he just said so. Now this is a definitely hold on.
You would like to get that question. You would like that.
Nah, cause Ogun Daisy does the same thing Means does. Ogun Daisy literally does the same thing. So no, we good on Stephen Means. If I want a residential cheerleader, we get one of them cheerleaders out there to put some pads on. But man, nah, we good on that. But let's see. But I get this one right here. Chase 1054 here says, who do y'all think is on the chopping block? Oh, that's the worst part about it, man. Like you said, if you think about how this team and how they've been attacking this offseason. Well, I'll tell you one thing. We know Felipe Franks is one of those guys on the chopping block right now. Like you said, since the NFL got that rule now to where your third string quarterback doesn't officially take up a roster spot, and you got a lot of these tight ends, like I said, I think he's the major one who's on the chopping block right now. Let me see. And I'm trying to put one more into perspective.
I'll give you 1K. Frank Darby. He's on the chopping block. Frank Darby's on the chopping block, dog. Frank Darby, dog. He's on the chopping block because of the guys they brought in. They brought in Ardeka Whiteside, and they brought in a lot of people are not paying attention to Mac Hollins. He's a really good special teamer. So what was keeping Frank Darby on this team the last couple of years was his ability to play special teams. But again, as we've been talking about, if you got multiple guys and you only can dress so many on Sunday, if Ardeka Whiteside makes this team, if we know Mac Hollins is going to make this team. Like if those guys that we brought in, those other wide receivers make the team, because we got Scotty Miller, he's going to make the team. I really feel like the only way Frank Darby makes this team is if he plays well in the preseason. And I'm not just talking about him playing well on special teams. He's going to have to prove that he can do something as a wide receiver. If he just still this special teams ace, he's going to get cut, because to me, he's not even better than Cordell Hodge, who they brought back, who also plays special teams. So, and he proved to be a better wide receiver last year. So Frank Darby, the only way I see him making this roster is if he has he proves that he actually can play the wide receiver position at a pretty decent level, like be the third or fourth or fifth wide receiver. If he can't prove that in preseason, then he's not going to make the team just based off of special teams. At best, he'll be on the practice squad. So that's one I can tell you off top. He's not going to, I don't see him making the roster. Like right now, if I would just put it in pencil, I don't see Frank Darby making the team.
Yeah, because you said the key word too is that Arcega Whiteside, like you said, and Mac Hollins, special teams.
And Cordell Hodge, those three guys right there that, because we know Scotty Miller, he's not really a special team. Like he can return punts, but he's not going to run down like as a gunner. But Mac Hollins will. Cordell Hodge did it last year, and all of those guys are better wide receivers. So again, as I mentioned, if you're not versatile, if you can't do multiple things, you're not going to just be on this team to play special teams. Like that's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to dress on Sunday just based off of that.
Look, Frank Darby does one good thing. Well, he makes us laugh.
Yeah, man. I don't see it. It's tough. It's gonna be tough to make this roster, man. I say it's practice squad at best. Unless, like I said, unless he has refined his wide receiving skills and like he goes out there and balls during the preseason. I'm not saying he's gonna get cut, but he's gonna have to ball out like as a wide receiver in preseason.
Man, he need a prayer from Jesus Christ himself to make this damn team. I'm just gonna say it. He need a prayer, bro. He need a prayer. I don't think he has the necessary skills, unless he's prove to the coaching staff that he's a dynamic special teams guy. He's pretty much out of here. Because I think Drake and Holland's going to be pretty good. That's going to be a pretty good duo. I don't think a lot of people like expecting Hollins to do much, but like he's a solid wide receiver. He's a veteran. He knows the small intricate details of football, and so does Scotty Miller. And Scotty is a burner. You always need a burner, so I don't expect Scotty to go anywhere. So he's gonna need a prayer, man.
Yeah, he is.
But But like I say, we might as well go ahead and wind the show down, fellas. Right around that 9:30 mark.
Yow.
Yeah.
Man.
But like I said, we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in. Like you said, if you haven't subscribed either to Mad Mike Sports, Utah Sports, or 6-Man K Styles, definitely do that. Mike is almost hitting 9K, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, just spread the word, man. That's the next goal for Mad Mike Sports is 9K. We got Jew right now. He's over the 2K mark, but we trying to get him to 3K.
Yes, sir.
And I'm over here. I'm trying to get to the 2K side of the game too.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, we definitely appreciate the weekly support. Well, I ain't even gonna say weekly. We say the daily support.
Daily support, man. Yeah.
Like I said, rather it be something that makes you happy or something that pisses you off. If it pisses you off, it makes it even greater for us because that's what our goal is on. That's a good question. That's a good question about Caleb Huntley. I haven't heard anything about him, but be on the lookout for that during the week. We'll definitely talk about that a little bit more. And like I said, Red and Black event. We're going to be in Fairburn on Saturday, 8 p.m.
Yes, sir.
So you hit up Miss Maggie T, you hit up Mad Mike Sports for more of the details if you haven't already. So until next time, people, we ain't here to play.
Oh, no.
We here to stay.
Oh, yeah, dig it.
You ain't got to go home.
But you got to get the hell out of here. Oh, yeah.
Man, I've been getting a whole bunch of them goddamn wrestling clips, man. That's some bullshit.
Hey, man, look, y'all need to head over there. I'm loving wrestling right now, man. That it's
like I said, we got the daily reaction shorts. I'm doing daily reaction shorts. So y'all make sure y'all tune into those because I'm just running into some goofy shit, and I need y'all to hit them comment sections and let me know what y'all think on those because these conversations, these will make for interesting conversations. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everybody tuning in, man. Like I said, we're gonna get you a nice back. Deuces.
Peace.
Peace.